Aloha, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Skep Live Online, a production of University of Hawaii Presents, based at the University of Hawaii at Manoa Outreach College. My name is Tim Slaughter, your host today. I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Hawaii State Foundation on Culture and the Arts, the National Endowment for the Arts, the University of Hawaii, and Kauanoa Senior Services. We're excited to have you join us this week and would love to stay in touch. So give us comments and questions through today's chat window and let us know what you're thinking and where you're tuning in from. Also, if you send your email to csinfo at hawaii.edu, that's CSINFO at hawaii.edu, you'll get notices about upcoming programs. We're happy to have with us this week Sherry Norfolk. Sherry is an award-winning storyteller, author, and teaching artist. She has appeared in festivals, schools, libraries, museums, and universities nationwide. As a teaching artist, she leads residencies in pre-K through high school classrooms across the country in Southeast Asia. A former adjunct professor at Lesley University, Sherry is a recognized leader in integrating learning through storytelling. So, let's welcome to Skep Live Online, Sherry Norfolk.
Thank you and aloha. It is such a pleasure to be with you today. I want to tell you some stories that pretend to explain how different things in this world came to be. All over the world, people have created these stories, and there are, of course, thousands of them in Hawaii. But my first story is from right here in this area of the United States. I'm in St. Louis, and this story comes from the Midwest and the Southeast. Now, you probably know what a possum looks like. Nowadays, they have naked tails, but it hasn't always been that way. See, they say that long, long ago, possum had a long, beautiful, flowing, bushy tail, and he was real proud of that tail. He was always going around bragging about his tail, saying, "Look at here. I know you wish you had a tail like mine, 'cause my tail is beautiful, my tail is fine, my tail is beautiful, and it's mine on mine." Hey, oh yeah. Not only did he brag about his tail all the time, he was always flipping it up in somebody else's face. And the animals got sick and tired of all that bragging, got sick and tired of having that tail flipped up under their noses too, especially Rabbit, because it seemed to Rabbit that he saw that tail more than anybody else. Oh yeah, Possum liked to say, "Look at you, Rabbit, little bitty tail, and Bear, great big bear, itty bitty tail. I know you wish you had a tail like mine, 'cause my tail is beautiful, my tail is fine, my tail is beautiful, and it's mine on mine." Hey, well, after a while of listening to that and having that tail up in his face, Rabbit got to thinking. He got to talking to folks, and he came up with an idea. He gathered up all the animals. He said, "You know what? I am sick to death of that possum and his beautiful tail." And so I came up with an idea. Now, I've been talking to Mr. Cricket, Mr. Cricket the barber. Now, he says he can trick Possum into going to sleep, and then he will shave off every single hair on his tail till that tail is pink and shiny and naked. What do you think about that?
Oh, I like that. That's a really good idea. I like it.
Oh, let's do it.
But they all wanted to see the results of that trick at the same time. So they decided they were going to tell Possum they were having a party in honor of his beautiful tail. Well, the animals went off to get ready for the party. And Possum, well, he was back at his place, braiding his tail, when Rabbit came along. Rabbit said,
Hey, Possum, how you doing?
"Hey there, Rabbit. I reckon you came on along here to get a close-up look at my tail, but look at that, I'm braiding it. Ain't that the prettiest thing you ever laid eyes on?"
Yeah, that is really awesome. Listen, we were talking about that tail of yours, and we think we should have a party in honor of your beautiful tail. What do you think about that?
"A party for my tail? Well, yeah, that's a real good idea, sure. When's it going to be and where?"
It's going to be in the clearing in the forest tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Can you be there?
I'll be there. See you then.
Oh, hey, wait. Listen, I've been talking to Mr. Cricket, Mr. Cricket, the barber. He says he's got this new hair tonic. He says if he puts that tonic on your tail, it'll be even more beautiful, even more glorious, even more fine. So what do you say? Should I send him on along to fix you up for the party?
Huh. Pretty hard to imagine my tail looking any better than this, but sure, if he can fix me up for the party, send him on along. So Rabbit got out of there and sent Mr. Cricket back. Mr. Cricket said, all right, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to pour this oil on your tail, oil on your tail, oil on your tail, and then I'm going to rub it in, rub it in, rub it in, and then I'm going to wrap it up in ribbon, wrap it up in ribbon, wrap it up in ribbon, and then don't you take it off, don't you take it off, don't you take it off till you get to the party. Got it? Yeah. Hey, that'll be real fine, because then I'll get to the party and my tail will be all covered up. They won't be able to see how pretty it is. And when everybody's there, I can unwrap the ribbon and holler, surprise. I can't wait to see the awe. I can't wait to see the envy. I can't wait to see the jealousy on their face. Get to work. So Mr. Cricket got to work. He pulled out a big bottle of cooking oil and he poured it all over Possum's tail. And then he began to rub it in. He massaged it in, and that felt so good. Possum was going, and he fell asleep. As soon as Possum was sound asleep, Mr. Cricket got out a big sharp knife and he started shaving off every single hair on Possum's tail until that tail was completely pink and shiny and naked. And then he got out some pretty ribbon and he wrapped it tightly around that tail so not a single bit of that pink shiny nakedness was showing through. He got out of there. Possum woke up. He found his tail all covered up in ribbon. He said, oh, this is going to be good. Yeah, get to the party. Wait till they're all there. Unwrap the ribbon. Surprise. I can't wait to see the awe and the jealousy and the envy on their faces. But he had to wait. He had to wait until 7 o'clock the next day. And by that time, he was so excited. He couldn't stand himself. He was right there at the edge of the clearing, counting everybody as they arrived, because he wanted to make sure he could make his grand entrance. Well, they had set up a real fine party. Yeah, there was a great big fire in the middle of the clearing. There were musicians tuning up over on one side, big tables full of food and drink on the other side. All the animals gathering around. As soon as they were all there, Possum made his grand entrance. I'm here.
Hey, there he is.
Oh, why don't you dance for us? Yeah, show off your tail.
Don't mind if I do. Possum started dancing around the fire, unwrapping the ribbon, singing a song. My tail is beautiful, my tail is fine, my tail is beautiful, and it's mine on mine. Hey, now, he wasn't looking at his tail. He was too busy looking at the faces of all the animals because he wanted to see the envy, he wanted to see the jealousy, he wanted to see the awe on their faces, and what he saw was, and he thought, they're speechless. Yeah, they can't think of anything good enough to say about my tail. He kept on going. My tail is beautiful, my tail is fine, my tail is beautiful, and it's mine on mine. Hey, he threw off the last of the ribbon. And when those animals saw that pink, shiny, naked tail in all its pink and shining glory, they didn't hold back anymore. They started laughing. Possum said, well, what are they Wow! Possum took off running into the deepest, darkest part of the forest, and he would not come out. You will hardly ever see a possum out in daylight anymore because they're all so ashamed of the pink, shiny, naked tails. But if you go into the woods of a night, you might find possum, and he'll probably still be singing. My tail ain't beautiful. My tail ain't fine. My tail ain't beautiful, but it's mine, all mine. And that's the end of that. The next story comes from Alaska. It's an Athabascan folktale. It's about two kinds of animals that live in Alaska. One of them is a ground squirrel. Now, a ground squirrel is another name for a prairie dog, and they are related to regular squirrels that live up in trees, but ground squirrels, just like the name implies, live down in holes in the ground. The other animal in this story is a marsh hawk. They eat ground squirrels. This is the story. One day, Marsh Hawk was flying around looking for something to eat when all of a sudden he found a whole village full of ground squirrels. They were up out of the holes in the ground, singing and dancing a little ground squirrel dance. You put your right foot in, you take your right foot out, you put your right foot in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Hokey pokey.
Ground squirrels. I love to eat ground squirrels, especially like their fat, fat little tummies. Hey, you guys have fat, fat little tummies? Sure, we got fat, fat little tummies, all right. They started singing the next part of their dance. You put your fat tummy in, you take your fat tummy out, you put your fat tummy in, and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. I'm gonna get me some of those fat, fat little tummies. Hawk went into his power dive. But they always had a ground squirrel guard watching for danger. He called out, dive, dive, dive. Shoo! They all went down in the holes in the ground. Whew, that was a close one. Yeah. Oh, man, I missed. Didn't get a single one of those fat, fat little tummies. That's okay. I'm pretty smart. All right, they like to dance. I'll teach them a new dance. They have to come up out of their holes in the ground to do the dance, and when they do, I'll grab them and eat their fat, fat little tummies. Hey, you guys want to learn a new dance? Sure, we like to dance. Watch this. This little squirrely went to market. This little squirrely stayed home. This little squirrely ate roast beef, and this little squirrely had none. And this little squirrely was a boogie woogie squirrely, and he boogie woogied all the way home. Hawk went into his dive, but he had to wait because they hadn't come out of their holes in the ground. Hey, do you like the dance? Yeah. Can we come out and do it? Yeah. Okay. Come on out. Do the dance. All right. Come on. So they came up out of their holes in the ground, and they started doing the new ground squirrel dance. This little squirrely went to market. This little squirrely stayed home. This little squirrely ate roast beef. And this little squirrely had none. And this little squirrely was a boogie woogie squirrely, and he boogie woogied all the way home. Hawk went into his dive. Yeah! Dive, dive, dive. Shoot, Bell went down in the holes of the ground. Whew, that was a close one. I can't believe it. I missed again. I didn't get a single one of those fat, fat little tummies back. I'm smarter than they are. They think they're so smart down there in that hole in the ground, but there's only one way in and one way out of that hole in the ground. And you know what? If I sit on it, they can't get out. Yeah, but they have to come out sooner or later to eat. And when they do, I grab them and eat their fat, fat little tummies. And with that, Hawk sat down on the hole in the ground. Well, when he sat down, he blocked all the light. So it got very, very dark down in those holes in the ground. So the ground squirrels began to poke at what was blocking the light. Poke, poke, poke. Poke, poke, poke. Poke, 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 poke. And all that poking tickled on Marsh Hawk's bottom.
Then one of them got a great idea. Instead of poking, he pulled. Plink! Hey, look, the feathers come out. Let's all pull. So they all began to pull. And all of a sudden, instead of feeling a tickling on his bottom, Hawk felt a very cold breeze on his bottom. So he reared up to see what was happening. Wow! His whole bottom was naked. It was cold and it was naked. He went flying off, looking for something to cover up that cold place. But all he ever found was a hunk of white rabbit fur. He put it right there on that cold place. And you know what? Ever since that day, you will know marsh hawk when you see him. He's the only bird that has a big hunk of white rabbit fur right above his tail feathers. So that's the end of that. I want to go to Africa now, to Tanzania, for this story. Long ago, in the beginning of time, there was a village called the Village of Darkness. And in that village, no one had ever seen the blue of the sky, the green of the grass, or the beauty of their children's faces. Now, on the other side of a mountain, there was another village, the Village of Light. So one day, the king of the Village of Darkness gathered his people together, and he said, on the other side of the mountain, there is a Village of Light. Someone must go over there and bring back light. I have 1,000 cowrie shells to buy the light. Who will go? A little boy came forward. I'll do it. I'll go get the light. Good. Take these and bring back light. Yes, sir. The little boy took the cowrie shells and started up the mountain singing a song. I am going up the mountain. I am going up the mountain. I am going up the mountain, going to get the light. He came to the top of the mountain and looked down, and for the first time in his life, he saw light. He saw the beautiful village below. He ran down the mountain and into the village. And the king of the Village of Light greeted him.
Who are you, and what do you want?
I come from the Village of Darkness. I come to buy light. I have 1,000 cowrie shells. Is it enough?
1,000 cowrie shells? It is enough.
The king took a little box and went over to a big box. He reached in and got a lot of glowing light. He put it in the little box and put the lid on and handed it to the little boy.
Take this and don't look back. Remember, don't look back.
I'll remember, said the boy. He took the box and he started out. But as he passed by the gates of the Village of Light, an old woman looked up and called out, look back and see, look back and see, look back and see what the king does now. He dances with the light. He dances with the sun. He dances with the moon. Look back and see what the king does now. The boy looked back. The box broke. The light fell out. The little boy went back with nothing but darkness. Everyone was waiting for him. Did you bring it? Did you get it? Did you bring back the light? No, I didn't, but it was so beautiful. Someone has to go and get the light. But remember not to look back. He'll tell you that. The king of the Village of Darkness said, who will go? Who will bring back light? I have 2,000 cowrie shells. Who will go? A little girl came forward. I'll go. I'll go bring back the light.
Here are 2,000 cowrie shells. Remember, don't look back.
I'll remember. The little girl started up the mountain. I am going up the mountain. I am going up the mountain. She went all the way to the top, and when she saw the light, she ran down to the village and into the village and met up with the king of the village of light.
Who are you, and what do you want?
I come for the village of darkness. I come to buy light. I have 2,000 cowrie shells. Is it enough?
It is enough.
Again, he took a little box over to a big one, reached in and got glowing light, filled the little box, and put the lid on.
Take this and don't look back. Remember, don't look back.
I'll remember. She took the little box and started out, but as she passed the gates, the old woman looked up and called out, "Look back and see, look back and see, look back and see what the king does now. He dances with the stars, he dances with the moon. Look back and see what the king does now." The girl did not look back. She called again, "Look back and see, look back and see." The girl looked back. The box broke. The light poured out. The little girl went back to her village. I looked back. I tried not to, but I looked back. But someone has to go. It's so beautiful. Someone has to get the light.
Who will go? Who will bring back light?
And this time no one answered.
I have 3,000 cowrie shells. Who will bring back light?
No one answered. No one wanted to fail. But then a little dog barked.
A dog? A dog will bring back light? Very well. Here are 3,000 cowrie shells. Don't look back.
The little dog took the cowrie shells in his mouth and started up the mountain. He ran down into the village and he met up with the king.
A dog? They sent a dog? 3,000 cowrie shells. It is enough.
One more time, the king took a little box and filled it with glowing light. Put the top on.
Take this and don't look back. Remember, don't look back.
The dog took the box in his teeth and started away. But as he went through the gate, the old woman called out, "Look back and see, look back and see." The dog did not look back. She called again, "Look back and see, look back and see." The dog did not look back. Look back and see. The dog did not look back. He got all the way back to the village of darkness and he spit out that box. The village all gathered round, and the king of the village of darkness reached out and took the lid off the box. And when he did, light came pouring out. And for the first time, the people in that village saw the blue of the sky, the green of the grass, and the beauty of their children's faces. And ever since that day, people have called dog man's best friend because he did not look back. All over the world, people have created stories about how light got to be in the sky. Sometimes the light starts in the sky but goes away. And those stories seem to coincide with stories about the solstice, the winter solstice, especially those that come from the Arctic Circle and the Arctic areas, because of course the winter solstice is darkness, darkness, darkness there. This is a story from the Athabascan. It's called Snowshoe Hare. Long ago, in the beginning of time, the trolls who lived beneath the Chugach Mountains of Alaska hated the light because they liked to steal and plunder, but they always got caught when people could see them. So they came up with a plan. They wove a long rope and they used it to lasso the sun and pull it down out of the sky. They rolled it into a huge iron cauldron like a witch's pot, and they shoved it deep into the caves beneath the Chugach Mountains. And the world went dark. The animals couldn't see, so they couldn't hunt. If they couldn't hunt, they couldn't eat. So they were getting hungrier and hungrier and colder and more frightened. Finally, the snowy owl called them all together. She said, I saw what happened. It was the trolls. They've hidden the light beneath the mountains. Who will get the light? Polar Bear said,
Well, I guess you mean me. I mean, I'm the biggest and the strongest and everything. All right. You don't have to beg. I'll take care of you little fellas. Just wait right here. I'll be right back.
and off he went.
I got to take care of them, because I'm big and strong and they're just little bitty old guys. And wait a minute. I smell fish. I love fish. I'm just going to catch me a little snack and then I'll get the light.
So he caught a fish and ate it. And he caught another one and another one. He kept on fishing and eating and forgot all about the light. The animals were still waiting. They were getting hungrier and hungrier, colder and colder, and way more frightened. Snowy Owl said, he won't be back. Who will get the light? Wolf said, oh, I'll do it. I should have gone in the first place. I'm the fastest, I'm the smartest, I'm the best. All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to get the light, and I'm going to be a hero. They're going to put me all over the newspapers. I'm going to be on Twitter. I'm going to be all over Facebook. I'm going to, wow, it's dark out here. It's really dark. It's scary out here. I miss my mama. Mama! His mama heard him and called, oh, mama! Wolf followed his mama's voice, and they curled up together and went to sleep. The animals were getting frantic. Snowy Owl said, who will get the light? That's when Snowshoe Hare came forward. Now, Snowshoe Hare was a little white bunny with great big feet. Snowshoe Hare said, I'll do it. I'll try. I know I'm not big or strong or anything, but I never give up. Even if I'm cold or hungry or miss my mama, I won't give up. I'll do my best. If you want me to, I'll try. The other animals laughed.
Little bitty guy like you.
She can't do it. No way.
But Snowy Owl said, let her try. So the Snowshoe Hare went bouncing across the ice and snow. She was cold. She was scared. She was hungry. She missed her mama, but she didn't stop. She kept going till she saw a line of light beneath the mountains. There it is. I wonder if the trolls are still close by. She got closer and closer, and sure enough, she could hear the trolls underneath the mountains.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I said I would do it. Here I go. She bounced and bounced until she came inside the cave, and she saw that huge iron cauldron. Oh, man, that's big. Now what am I going to do? And she could hear the trolls closer now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I said I would do it. Okay. Think. I know. Okay. I've got big, strong legs. Maybe if I get behind the cauldron and kick it, it'll roll over and the light will roll out. So she got behind the cauldron and gave it a great big kick. Boom! The cauldron rolled over and the light rolled out. But the trolls heard that sound and they saw the light. They came chasing after Snowshoe Hare.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The light was still on the ground. She had to kick it in front of her like a giant soccer ball.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They were just about to grab her when she gave one final huge kick. Boom! The sun sailed into the sky, and there was light. When the trolls saw that light, they went back under the mountains and never came out. That's how Snowshoe Hare saved the day. And that's the end of that. I want to tell you one last story. It comes from the island of Taiwan. In the beginning of time, there was a huge father dragon that lay curled up in the land that we now call China, with just the tip of his tail hanging out over the South China Sea. Now, in the South China Sea, his baby dragons played. They kicked up waves, they breathed out steam, and they had fun. Until one day, when one of the dragons said, I am bored. I am bored. There's nothing to do. I am very tired of making waves. I'm tired of making steam. What are we going to do? Yeah, I'm tired too. Me too. Me. Oh, I have an idea. Let's wake up Daddy. He is so much fun. Let's just wake him up and then we can play. Good idea. So they all started yelling, Daddy! Daddy! Daddy, 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 daddy. He didn't wake up. Oh, I have another idea. You're going to love it. Yeah, let's bite his tail. That'll wake him up. Oh, you think we should? Sure, he won't mind. And they all began to bite up and down Daddy Dragon's tail. Until all of a sudden, Daddy woke up and he was angry. He took that tail and swept. He swept those baby dragons right up into the air and they fell splish, splash, splish, splash, splish all over the South China Sea. But the tip of his tail had been bitten at so much that it flew off and it landed right on top of one of the baby dragons. Now, ever since that day, that tail and that baby dragon have been there in the South China Sea. They call it the island of Taiwan. And when you look at that island, you will see that there is a ridge of mountains that go from north to south. They say they're mountains, but we know those are the ridges on Daddy Dragon's tail. Sometimes the baby dragon starts to get kind of restless and he tosses and turns. They call those earthquakes, but we know what they are. Now, if you look at the edge of the land of China right there, there are all kinds of little bite marks still there, showing you what those baby dragons did. And Daddy Dragon, he was so angry, he did not want to look at those babies for a while. And so he stretched himself out all the way across to where India is now. They call him the Himalayan mountains. But the other baby dragons, they're still out in the South China Sea. They still kick up waves. They still breathe out smoke. And that's how the island of Taiwan was created. That's the end of that. It has been a real pleasure getting to be with you today and tell you stories. Aloha.
And thank you, Sherry, for a wonderful day of stories here. This is absolutely fabulous listening to the tales from around the world like that. Um, you have such a wonderful way of using different voices in your stories. When did you develop that, and how do you create those different voices?
My theory, it's most of the theory. I have a twin brother, and when we were little, we would go on car trips, and to amuse ourselves, we always had contests. Who could have the loudest voice? Who could have the deepest voice? Who could have the highest voice? I think we stretched our vocal cords. We both have
Very deep voices.
when we want to, but also it's kind of like singing, except you don't have to be on pitch. So when you sing, you can la 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 and la 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 la, and I just choose which of that scale that I want.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Can you tell
I
us
have,
about the? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
there is a video on the Kennedy Center website. It's called Kennedy Center Teaching Artists Present. And I have a video on there on, it's called the Storyteller's Toolbox. And it's about how to create character voices and sound effects. So you
Oh,
might want to
okay.
look at
Well, you're the perfect person to do that.
that. Thank you.
You can you tell the audience what instrument you were using there in some of the stories?
I had a shakeray. And this is a teeny tiny little one. They're usually quite big. They're made of gourds, African gourds. And then these are, in a really authentic one, these actually would be cowrie shells, but these are seeds that are sewn onto a net that is then encompassed on there. So it's not seeds that are inside the gourd, they're on the outside.
That's what makes the noise.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And with a bigger one, and with this, it depends on the size, the sound you want to make. So when
Ah.
I'm actually beating on the gourd itself, you get that deeper sound.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Beautiful. What kind of got you involved in storytelling? You know, a lot of people tell us sometimes it's they grew up in a household, there were stories, or but other people come to it later. What's your story about storytelling?
I have two actually. The first one is that my twin brother and I had a grandfather who loved poetry. He had a poem for every occasion. I mean, for anything. And I remember very, very clearly, he would push us on our swing. So he's got one kid and one kid here. And he would, oh, how I love to go up in the air so blue. Oh, I do think it's the pleasantest thing ever a child could do. He would recite Robert Louis Stevenson to us as he
Ah,
pushed. And so he had a poem for everything. I believe that I got the words of the poem, and my brother is he's the director of bands at Virginia Commonwealth University. Actually, he's the chair of the department now. He got the music of them,
ah,
so we shared. And then I was a children's librarian, and we have to tell stories. So that's what,
that's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I
So
found that
those
it
are
was
two.
the very best way to motivate kids to read and to come to the library to tell stories.
Okay. Well, you must have been a very popular librarian.
I loved I love what I do. No matter I just love what I do. And it was so cool. We would go into a school and tell stories, and the kids would come to the library and say, "Remember when you told me that story?" There were 350 kids in the audience, but it was they all experienced it as a personal
Right.
performance. Remember when you told me that story? And that tells you what the power of storytelling is, that
Yeah.
it's a personal connection between the story and the storyteller and the audience.
That's wonderful. Regardless of how many people are in the audience, they both all experience it individually. Well, Sherry, I can't thank you enough for being here with us today. And don't worry, everybody, Sherry will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. also and Thursday. So are lucky enough to have her for most of the week this week. I want to thank our sponsors one more time: the National Endowment for the Arts, the Hawaii State Foundation on Culture and the Arts, the University of Hawaii, and Kanoa Senior Services, and you, our audiences, for tuning in. It's been a pleasure having you today. It's been a pleasure having you, Sherry, sharing your stories. So, everyone, please stay safe and aloha.
Aloha. See you tomorrow.